Hi, it's Maureen from Me to You Stamper. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in the state of New Jersey, and this is August Stampin' Around the World video hop. Our theme this month is water. So I'm thinking for water, it could be a water scene or it could also be watercoloring. So I'm going to do a bit of both with my card. I'll be using the Beauty of the Deep stamp set that can be found in the Stampin' Up! Catalog on page 75. It's in the annual catalog, so you can find it there. So I'll be using that stamp set and the dies. Along with that, I'm going to be using the circle, let's see, the second circle inside here from the Stylish Shape dies. So it's the second largest circle. I'll be using that as well. And then the sentiment from Seaside Wishes. So my card is going to say, where is my card? Because I forgot what it says. It says, your friendship is the best gift. So this sentiment here is what I will be using from this stamp set. Let me keep these nearby because I am going to need them. I'm also going to be using the Full of Life Designer Series paper. This is a 6x6 DSP. It's two-sided. And here are some of the different designs. I don't have any more of the one that I'm going to be using because I think there are only 4 sheets and I used all of them. Either practicing for this card or making other cards. But it's really beautiful paper. One of the things that I love about Stampin' Up! Is that on the back of your designer series paper, it does let you know all of the colors that are in it, in the pack. So if I look on the back here, it will tell me all the different colors so that it helps me to coordinate. So there's Balmy Blue, Berry Burst, Blueberry Bushel, Coastal Cabana, Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight, and I could go on. There's so many more. But this is the pack that I'm going to be using to make my card. So to get started, I have a piece of Balmy Blue. Oh, I didn't score it yet. Balmy Blue cardstock. This cardstock is 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and I'm going to quickly score this. I am going to score it at 5.5 right here. Where's my 5? Now I can't see it. Okay, 5.5. I'm going to score it there. And I'm going to be layering this. So I'm going to put this aside after I flatten my edges there. I'm going to be using this particular DSP. I did cut it, so this was 6x6, and I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. This is the back side. I'm going to use this side, and I am layering it onto basic white cardstock. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So I'm going to be using my Stampin' Seal to adhere it. And I love the Stampin' Seal. It can get tricky at times to get a running start. So sometimes you have to just go in there and move it with your hand. But it seems to be working right now. So I'm going to layer this on here and have just a little bit of a border around like that. And next I'm going to layer this onto my card base. The thing I found with the Stampin' Seal is you don't want to push hard. If you push lightly, you get a better run of the adhesive. So I'm going to, let's see, which way do I want my card to go? I want my blue on the left side. So again, I have just a little bit of a border, just like that. Okay, I'm going to set that to the side. The next thing I'm going to do is to get ready for my watercoloring. Not a lot of watercoloring, but I'm going to have a little bit. So I am using watercoloring paper. This cardstock is measured at 4 by 3 inches, and then the Balmy Blue is actually 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. So I'm going to start off by watercoloring on here. So I am going to use some Balmy Blue. I'm sorry, this is Pool Party ink. So I am trying to get a pool of ink in the lid, so I'm pressing on the back. Then I'm going to open it up. And there we go. You can tell that I've done this a bit. I'm going to use my watercolor painter. Get some water in there. And there's no right way to do this. I just kind of go back and forth. If it's too light, you can add more color. So the more water you have, the lighter it will be. So in contrast, the less water you have, the lighter it will be. Okay. And sometimes I just go around the edges like this just to neaten it up just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit and let that dry. That is it for our watercoloring. Super, super simple. What I'm gonna do next, while this is drying, I am going to get ready to stamp my fish. So I'm going to be using some peach pie cardstock. And I am going to stamp 2 different fish images. So I'll be stamping this one and this one using Calypso Coral ink. And this is one way to get 2 colors. So I am stamping on peach pie, but I am using the Calypso Coral ink, and then you can see my fish will be 2-tone, just like that. And I'm going to stamp another one. So there were 2 fish in this stamp set. I'm going to run those through in 1 minute, but before I do that, I also want to stamp some, let's see, an underwater plant here. I don't know if what this would be called. It's not coral. I'm not sure what that is, but I'm going to stamp that in Shaded Spruce ink, and I'm going to stamp it on Shy Shamrock. Again, it's going to give me that 2-tone effect while only using 1 color of ink and a slightly lighter color of cardstock. I'm going to stamp that there. Okay. So I did already stamp one out because I'm going to use 2 for my project, but I wanted you to see me stamp one of them and cut them out. So I am now going to cut these out. Other things that I'm going to be using is this circle here, which I showed you the circle from the dies. I already die cut that one ahead of time. And then I have this that I also die cut ahead of time just to try and save a little bit of time. So let me pull out my cut and emboss machine. Let's move this over to the side. Hopefully you can see that. Yep, I'm using the mini one. I love the mini one because it takes up less space on my workspace. So I can use it without having to clear the whole table. So I'm going to put those in there and get my dies out of the case. So I need the fish with the tail. And here we go. Now, a tricky thing for these is getting them to stay in place. So I often get a little bit of this tape here. Let's see if I can get it in the right place. And then I tape it in place so it won't move on me. And I just have little pieces of tape ready to go. And then sometimes you need to do it off there. So I'm going to put this down here for a second. Make sure it's where I want it to be. Tape it down. And then I can run it through. Okay, so for using the Stampin' Emboss machine, if you're using the mini, it's important to stagger your plates. When you stagger your plates, it's easier for it to go in. So I have this one farther ahead, and then the other 2 are staggered. Because if you do it even, it doesn't go through very easily. The bigger Stampin' Emboss machine, it's a cut and emboss machine. I'm calling it so many different things. The bigger one, there's not a problem, but the smaller one, you do have to stagger it. All right, so here are my 2 fish. I'm going to put them over here. And next I am going to cut out, here it is, my greenery. Let me get the die for that. Here we go. And this too, I'm going to use the tape for to hold it in place because nothing's worse than having to re-stamp everything because your die moved. So I'm getting it exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to put my tape down and stagger it again. And put that through. And then I think I have all my pieces cut out. Let's move this away. And pop that out. Oops, save my tape for later. Oh, maybe this one's going to go in the trash. I've been using this tape a lot, so it is fine to say goodbye to that one. Okay. So now I think we have all of our pieces. So let me get everything out and see. I think we do. We have our fish. We have these. Okay. So I am going to now layer this here. I'm going to use just the regular Stampin' Seal again. It's a little bit damp, but it will be fine. And I'm going to layer that on here. And I love all the blues in this paper. So you can see I've used a lot of different blues, different hues of blue. So this is Balmy Blue that I am adhering it to. And this is Pool Party here. I am now going to put adhesive on the back of this and layer that on here. So again, more Stampin' Seal. And put that right about there. Yeah. Okay, so I do have something else that I need to stamp. I want to stamp a few of the dots on here. So I'm going to bring out this stamp. It has those little, the splatter of dots and some Pool Party ink. And I am going to put some dots on the bottom once I get away all these little flakes here. Down there. Just adds a little bit of texture to what I'm doing. And that one, there we go. And now I am going to finish layering. So I am going to start by bringing these in and this. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put some adhesive right here on top of this one, just here at the bottom section of this. And I'm going to stick it behind my circle. But I do want to make sure it's not going to be too high for my card. So if my circle is going to be about here, I'm going to want that to be about that high. So we'll do that like that. And then I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of this one. So right here. And again, we're just laying it on the card for now to make sure it's not going to be too high. And then I want this one to go this way, like that. And next I want to add this to the front like this. And I'm going to use some of my liquid glue. And this can be a little bit messy. Oh, I want to come off because you have to turn it. I am going to use my silicone mat for this. And that's just so that if there's a mess of glue, it'll just go here and it's easier to clean up. So I'm going to dab some just in the bottom sections like this. And there, that should be good. All right, move this out of the way. I will need more of that. I'm going to bring my circle section, this unit over here. And I'm going to put it about here. And with the liquid glue, you do want to hold it in place because it will slide on you. So you have to be very careful and hold it in place for a moment. Okay, that should be good. So many steps. The next thing I want to do is oh, did I lose a fish? Oh, there it is. All right, I want to bring in this strip here. So I often just keep strips, like if I'm cutting my basic white card stock for other projects, and I have strips left, I keep them and save them so that I can use them for labels. So I am going to stamp my sentiment on here. I am stamping Your Friendship is the Best Gift, and I'm going to stamp that in the Calypso Coral. Put that there. All right, I'm gonna ink this up and stamp it closer to the left side. Try to make sure it fits on there. So I have a lot of these, so if it doesn't fit, I just go grab another one. That is perfect. I have to tell you, I've practiced this a few times and it did not always come out perfect. My O would get blotchy or my E would get blotchy, so this is the best one yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I actually want to save that part for last. I am going to put some dimensionals on the back of here. Here's some to get ready to layer this. Put that there. So for my dimensionals, I am going to put them, I love using them. I use a lot of them. So maybe 5. We're gonna go for 6. And then I'm going to put one up here and one up here, just like that. And I know some people use their take your pick tools to pop them off. I've never really done that. Oh, there we go. So maybe, let's see, is that working for me? It is. Oh boy, I might have a new way to do it. But I've watched a lot of people do this and I've never really done it. I've just taken them off with my fingers, but this works well. And then I keep a little dish on my table and then I can just, whoops, that didn't go well. But I put them in there so I don't have a mess all over the place, and I empty that later. All right. Now I'm going to add this to the front of my card. I'm going to move it down here slightly and put it like that right on there. I'm going to bring my fish over. This one, I am going to again use some of my liquid glue. Just put a few dots on there. And I'm going to wait a minute for the other one. And I am going to sit him or her here and hold it in place because it will move if I don't. Okay, now for this piece, for the sentiment, I do want it to line up with the edge here, and then I'm going to cut a diagonal here. So I'm just going to grab my scissors and cut a little diagonal like that. So this is what it will look like. And then I'm going to add that here. So I'm just going to put some adhesive in this section, just like that. Yeah. And I'm okay if it hangs off over here. I don't think I need to put a dimensional. I guess I could put one dimensional over here. So I'm putting a dimensional because it's going to go back here and it's not level. So I want to put a dimensional, oops, I'm using my fingers, where it's going to go down farther. All right, and then it'll look like this. I kind of want my fish to be above it. Can I get him above it? Let's see. Oh, I can. He's still moving. Okay, so he's above it just a little bit. Now I'm going to put some adhesive on this one. Just a couple of dots like that. I love how the Calypso Coral is like a pop of color for this. And I'm going to put him down here, just like that. I do want to add some bling to my card. This bling always makes it look a little bit better. So I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. This is really my favorite way to use it. And I'm going to get, so I'm using the 2024-2026 In Color Shimmer Gems. I love these colors. I'm using the Peach Pie. I'm going to put one here. Get another one and put it up here. And one more and put it down here. I like to work in threes or some odd number. I think it just balances out the card when you use an odd number. So this is the outside of my card. Now I quickly want to stamp something for the inside, so let's do that very quickly. I have this inside layer. This is 3.5 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to add a little bit of what's left over from this paper. I think it was, I don't know where it came from, but somewhere on there. So here what I'm going to do is I am going to stamp that plant again. Let me make a little bit of space. This one here. I'm going to stamp it on the left side. Why not? It looks pretty cute there. I am going to stamp some more, a splatter of dots using Pool Party again. I'm also going to stamp, forget what this is called, one of these little things. You can tell me. Leave me a comment. Tell me what this is called, because I forget. Something with an S, I think. I can't think of the name of it. And then my dots. Some dots down here, just to give it a little bit of grounding. Okay. So it looks like that. And this will be for the inside of my card. So let me open this up. The first thing I'm going to do is add this to the right edge using my adhesive. Once I locate it, here it is. So sometimes you have to give it a little bit of a turn. There we go. And I'm going to put this here on the right. And then add some adhesive to this one. Okay, and that's going to go on the left side. Try to line it up as best I can. There we go. And here is my card. This is for Stampin' Around the World video hop. The theme was water, so I do have some watercoloring, and then I have an underwater scene. So make sure you give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like this video. Please subscribe. And also make sure you go to the description down below so that you can watch everyone else's videos, because there's going to be a lot of other videos with a focus of water, and I'm sure you're going to like them. And I will see you next month. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.